Hello everyone, I'm Sedeval and today we're gonna play uh, or rather read World Ed Economica. It will be a part 6 and as you can notice if you don't watch the stream uh, as recording, then we actually can notice that there is no video this time because I kinda decided to make titles after we finish stream because it's kinda I have no idea what's gonna be in the stream, so yeah, it will be much easier for me. But anyway, I guess let's start. What was in previous episode? I surprisingly not exactly remember where we stopped. Okay. So in previous episode, Haru gone in the city with no particular reason, and when he was back, it was some debt collectors in the church. So he fight with him when he paid to this debt collector, and after that was some stuff with Hagana and flowers. So, and now I believe it should be time skip. Anyway, we kinda waiting for Lisa to return because I believe it should be some interesting conversation between Haru and Lisa since he paid her debt. Well, he said what he's gonna get his money back from Lisa, but anyway. So, do I skip something right now? Yeah, let's start from this point. I thought that it would be really nice if some of that humanity could be directed towards me, but of course I couldn't say that aloud. It's not really sense. Anyway, so it was about Hagana. Oh, it's actually because it wasn't end. Yeah, so let's start from this part. I ended up holding myself up in the room. I was renting and spent the time searching for money spinners. I felt kind of depressed, but rather than wasting time and money roaming Red Valley aimlessly, I figured I might as well actually spend some time doing a thing related to making some bucks. On the ever-changing world, the economy news headlines were full of things that could determine movements of markets tomorrow. If my rivals through the world were going to read these articles to plan for tomorrow's trades, then ignoring the news would give me a handicap for the battle ahead. To win the battle, I must do everything possible. Driven by something like obsession, I poured through the news stories, but there were limits to my concentration and patience. I could concentrate on actual trading for hours on end, but I gradually lose focus while doing this sort of manual labor that was akin to warm-up exercises. However, I managed to look through everything. By that time, I started feeling a dull pain in the back of my eyes, and the light outside of my window indicated it was evening already. Amongst the investors of the world, anecdotes abounded about people who started investing when they were 5 years old and had never missed a day reading the top 10 economic newspapers for decades. Suddenly, I asked myself that ever I had been spending my days in such a way that I'd be able to fight with them on even footing. Right now, results had accompanied my trading. My seed money had grown. Recently, however, Slav's days of neither giants nor losers like yesterday had risen. If I broke even during actual trading, then I incur losses from the trading fees. Furthermore, my necessary living expenses added to those losses. It would be a lie to say that I wasn't uneasy. I was well aware that if there were days where I incurred losses or did not perform that well, then I'd be inclined to needlessly feel depressed about it, especially on the evening of the day when markets are closed at the end of a week. For those kids who actually went to school, they'd have club activities or play around for the day. The advent of a new week, just like the previous, brought a sense of stability. However, I had not such luxury since each new week would be an unpredictable week full of surprises. Back when I was in the village, I had dreamed of stimulating days like this every day, but the days when I held the opposite opinion had started to increase recently. This line of thought wasn't good, I felt. Feeling depressed brought nothing good. Going back to the village and attending school again was definitely impossible. Therefore, I needed to look forward and spend time constructively. Hmm. I got up from the bed, and with my light headache spreading a frown across my face, I opened the computer again. Being able to do something about the tug of war being played off my funds would at least make me feel more relieved. With that in the back of my mind, I received one of the three scheduled emails of the day from a securities company. Hmm. It was mailing list service that sent information about shady investment trust and shady investment opportunities. But occasionally, interesting info came out of it, so I decided to peruse it. As always, while I was staring at the table of contents, my mouse cursor had already reached the trash bin. However, what caused my hand to twitch and click the touch mouse was not that the email was full of crap, the opposite, in fact. Amongst the meaningless junk, there stood out the rare something that had some value. Hmm. An invitation to investment contest. I had heard of contests that invited people who excelled at stock trading, but was surprised that they had invited me. Hmm. Can he actually go on something like this? Since he's underage. Furthermore, the grand prize was 2,000 moles. My current net worth stood at 7,000 moles, so if I won, I'd increase my funds threefold. However, what drew me in the most wasn't that. Here, within the invitation for this contest was the following set of catch lines. Hmm. All eyes from Schrödinger Street are on this contest. In addition to the prize money, the winner might have the possibility of getting scouted. The winner last time, Mr. Tony Rudy, was recruited into Platinum Smith, and the winner of the first contest, Mr. Yan Shun, Suhu, ended up starting his own hedge fund. Hmm. But last in the store for the winner this third time. Hmm. Interesting. It was a bunch of cheap words intended to draw attention, but having been attracted, I couldn't reject those words. The prize money was obviously important, but the possibility of being able to get a foot in the door of Schrödinger Street, that single prize totally blew me away. Hmm. To work in such a film proper way, I'd have to study my butt off to get into a top tier university and graduate with the top grades with a top of the line major. Furthermore, I wouldn't just be competing with the people from the moon. I'd also be competing with the selected few brilliant immigrants from Earth. Therefore, this was a once in a lifetime opportunity for me. But, even briefly looking through my current situation, I could see a grim reality in the way. If I could repeat my fantastic dash that I managed to do after leaving home, this prize could definitely be in my reach. However, right now, I feel like I was in a tunnel with no visible exit. Hmm. I probably need some different type of methodology from what I've been using up until now. While pondering that, I copied out the contents of the email and sent it just in case. So, can he actually go uh, for this contest? Hmm. I mean, maybe. I mean, I believe he actually mentioned previously what it is possible to trade stocks and stuff while you underage or something. I mean, even here he actually mentioned something about 5 years old. Mm, doubt it's a little strange, but anyway. Mhm. Okay. I wasn't sure how much time had passed by, but I heard sound signaling that Lisa had come back. Okay, it had gotten quite dark outside, and I just realized that I had been in my own world picking out stocks with the lights still off. I guess this was all I could really do, but I think my concentration level wasn't all that bad. My body made some cracking sounds as I stretched, and I headed for the living room while taking a break. Oh, hmm, I guess we now can expect a conversation between Lisa and Haru. Anyway, at that instant, I smelled something delicious. My eyes turned unconsciously towards the kitchen. Kagana was in the middle of setting some Chinese food on the table. While wondering about when they had the time to cook, I noticed a large takeout basket under the table. Delivery? Lisa, who was taking out small serving plates from the cabinet, chuckled at my question. Leftovers. Well, it's a part of the reason why I work there. Hmm. Well, I don't mind. As someone who constantly paid and eat at the Lunar Chinese restaurant, I had mixed feelings about this. But I had no qualms with the price and the taste. I quickly took my place at the table. But Hakana, who was still taking out food from the basket, shied un- unequivocally at me. Stared unequivocally. How to pronounce this word? Oh, 1 second, please. Unequivocally. Okay. Unequivocally. Okay. Start unequivocally. Unequivocally. I still can't pronounce it. Unequivocally at me. Okay. Why aren't you helping? Because you didn't ask. I had lifted my hands up in a shrug to tease her, and she furrowed her brows. I was grinning smugly at my revenge for all the things she did to me when she delivered a surprise attack. Help out. Normally, in this situation, wasn't she just going to swallow whose words silently in irritation? At least I had expected that she'd be all pissed off, looked down and ignored me while she continued with the preparations. It seemed that Lisa also had the same thoughts. I guess Kagana really was a tout customer. While thinking about that, I got even more daggers from Kagana's eyes. They were saying, I asked you, so get to work now. Hmm. I shrugged, I shrugged, got up from my chair, and set the plates and chopsticks I got from Lisa on the table. Lisa stared at the two of us intentionally. Well then, let's give our thanks to the Lord and Mr. Wang from the restaurant. Okay, nice picture. Anyway, with Lisa words, dinner commenced. Basically, the food used plenty of ingredients that were on the verge of going bad, but there was pretty much no difference in taste. In fact, it was delicious. We polished off items that generally came in combo sets like twice cooked pork, bell pepper pork stir fry, and egg rolls. So what did you do all day? Lisa asked us just as Hagana used her chopsticks to block me from taking a third shumai from a platter that originally held 6. Before I could respond to Hagana's don't you know division, Lisa used her own chopsticks to place shumai each in Hagana's plate and mine. Hagana and I both looked back at Lisa, telling her that it was her share, but Lisa replied with, "We must share with what we have," and smiled. Apparently it was written in the Bible or something. Oh, okay, sorry. I just checked if stream alright. It is, I believe. Anyway. I shrugged and popped the shumai in my mouth. Hagana, who was more hesitant, ended up eating hers as well. Well, with what I answered Lisa's question honestly. Went to Newton City. Oh? For what? To scope the place out for a bank heist. Lisa broke into laughter, treating it as nonsense. But I was surprised that Hagana was totally shocked. Dah, it's a joke. With my reply, Hagana's expression changed from one of surprise to one of irritation, and she looked down. She was for some reason a bit dense when it came to certain things. So the real reason? I like those trees. It wasn't a lie. I munched on the salty picked vegetables and then took a drink from my teacup. It's a bit too lively for me. It's that liveliness what brings out my drive. I chopped down half of my third egg roll and then realized it was Hagana staring at me. Oh, there were only 6 of them to begin with. Sorry. Lisa noticed us and quickly put one of Hagana's plate. I heard that Hagana only had this kind of appetite then it came to Chinese food. I don't know what you're doing with that drive, but in either case, that's pretty good. I became a little humble when faced with Lisa's smile. I was wondering if she was making fun of me, but she had the usual carefree smile. Well, since I did provide you shelter, I would obviously be happy if you rested up and did your best. Oh, really? It's kind of pointless if you don't put in the effort yourself. Well, I guess it's true. This is the moon, after all. There was no point being here if you didn't work hard. If you wanted to just cruise along leisurely, then you could have done it on Earth. Haha, that's great. This is the moon, after all. Lisa even mimicked my voice, causing me to choke on a piece of pork I had been eating. She was enjoying herself happily, but she was troubled in a different way from Hagana. Alright, then what about you, Hagana? What did you do today? Being perhaps satisfied with the usual teasing, Lisa had turned it to Hagana and asked her what she did. I was also keenly interested in the reply. I wonder what she was doing all holed up in her room. She made no sound and occasionally got up to the bathroom. Hagana slowly finished her pepper pork stir fry as if she couldn't decide whether it was tasty or not, and then she replied unhurriedly, the same as usual. It was terribly bland, but Lisa wasn't put off by it. So, you got up, ate your meal, and held up the laundry to dry. and then I turned to my room to work on problems. Problems? I thought to myself. The whole time? I went to the bathroom once during the morning and continued to work on problems after getting back. So, did you solve them? 8 of them were pretty quick, but 4 of them took relatively longer. Um, okay. It's kinda interesting what she's talking about. I mean, it's maybe something about her being a teacher. Not sure. Also, do somewhere, uh, someone from them going tell about debt collector? Anyway, I see. That's pretty rare for 4 of them to be that difficult. Difficult, well, I wouldn't say that, but I think they were excellent problems. Agana spoke with her eyes closed, as if she were pondering the problems again. Lisa broke out in laughter seeing Hagana like this. You really do like them, don't you? Hagana opened her eyes and slowly turned towards Lisa. And then a small blush developed on her cheeks. Lisa was being with an unparalleled smile, and Hagana's response. I kind of felt like I was watching a doting parent, but I couldn't say I couldn't understand a little of Lisa's feeling. I was also taken in by Hagana's reply coupled with her rare show of embarrassment and her slight blush. I couldn't help feeling a sense of defeat. Then again, she did look pretty decent if she She did look pretty decent if she kept quiet. Besides, given that she's normally only showed me either a sore face or a face of disdain, I ended up rationalizing with no one in particular that I couldn't help it. So, what are we talking about? Bothered by my internal conflict, I tried to distract myself by saying something. Besides, I really was curious. I mean, I guess we also curious about this stuff. And also, yeah, now I realize it's probably good what they don't talking about debt collector right now. It will be totally kill the mood. Anyway, we're talking about math. Math? I don't even know math. Agana stopped smiling and asked in response. Out of that appeared to be surprised instead of belittlement. As if I were being made fun of, I lowered my voice and replied, Of course I know. Haven't I mentioned it before? Agana's very good at math. If it were just math, she'd be totally able to attend Lunar City University right now. Every year, elite students from all over the Earth come to attend Lunar City University. And I knew how difficult it must be to get into such a place. So, were you working on the entrance exams? I already finished those, right now. What was it you were working on again? On page 424 of Lloyd F. Steele's mathematical theorems. She replied immediately while drinking her soup. Oh yeah, but you're already 400 pages in. In terms of the history of math, it's still stuff from some several hundred years in the past. I had no clue what they're talking about. I didn't think Agana would actually explain it to me, and I'd be annoyed if I had to ask. Thus, I turned my gaze towards Lisa. Lisa, being her perceptive self, explained it to me with a smile. It's a digital copy I borrowed from the university of a classic book on mathematics. It's a bizarre book that has collected tons of mathematical theorems. 5,621 theorems. Agana snuck in a word while obsessively trying to split a steamed bun in half. We both turned to look at Hagana, then exchanged slight glances with each other. And so, she's trying to rederive proofs for all of these theorems. Rederive? For example, if the Pythagorean theorem, you try to figure out on your own how to prove it. In other words, reconstructing the history of math built up over the past several millennia. Wow. Assuming to it were true, I had no choice but to say Avison to that. I'd probably be able to even at least half forgive the way she looked down on me. In that case, why not just attend the university? With my super logical utterance, Lisa and Hagana both looked at me with pity. What? Even if it's just one subject, to totally ace it would give you a free passing, right? It's not like there's age restriction, right? I guess it's probably just cost money, and they don't really have them. Or maybe it's because she ran away from home. It also gonna make sense. Yeah. There are no age limits, and tuition can be covered by scholarship, but there is a problem, right? My mind was blank for a bit after these awards, but eventually I got it. That's right, Haganas ran away. Okay, that was right. Sorry. But limitations to parents, legal guardians, etc. only apply until she becomes an adult. Life is long, so might as well take it easy in meantime, right? Lisa smiled at Hagana. Hagana's note on at whose words was filled with an aura of earnestness. Seems that people have their reasons. I shrugged and drank some egg drop soup. So, that's all you two did today? What do you mean I'll be did today? Well, for some reason, after I come back, it seems that there's been developments in how we treat each other. The soup in my mouth was inch from being spilled out. What the heck was that supposed to be? I kind of feel like something happened between you two that I don't know about. Would you care to fill me in? This woman sure loves to dig into details, even at the restaurant. This woman? Liz asked back, full of smiles. However, those were certainly no smiles of happiness. I thought back to the last time I had stepped on this landmine. You sure love to dig into details. Yep, well, it's kind of like a job to me. Wait, a job? Never heard of strange job like that. Well, it's kind of strange to call it a job. My duty? Well, something like that. It's not like I like doing it, you know? For some reason I believe she actually liked doing it. But anyway. She said that, but it had to be a hobby. Besides, she herself didn't seem to be saying whose words seriously. Wait, I'm getting sidetracked. Well, nothing really happened. Oh wait, when I got back from Newton City. When I got that far in my sentence, there was a racket under the table. That was because I kicked up. And if you were to ask me why, I was because of my opponent kicked my shins with all my her might. Ow, what the hell are you doing, bitch? Okay. I mean, it's gonna ruin the mood, but since we're already talking about it, they still need to talk about it. So, not like they can just avoid this conversation. That's don't really gonna help. Anyway, it was so abrupt, but an ugly yell was the most I could muster. While Lisa's eyes were wide open with surprise, I was surprised too. I didn't strike back immediately, not because I thought Lisa wouldn't get angry, but because I had no idea what the heck was going on. Hey, Hagana, what are you doing? Lisa asked a question, but Hagana turned away and stayed silent. What, if she's a kid? That type of behavior really makes her seem like a stubborn brat. While rubbing my shins, I was wondering whatever she didn't want me to talk about it. I couldn't figure out exactly what would make her want to avoid it, at all costs. What? Something didn't happen. Oh, well, that was bad. As I was about to begin, Hagana glared at me. However, Lisa held Hagana back with her arms, and in fact Hagana looked like she was about to cry. I was surprised that Hagana would be so against my telling the story, but it appeared Lisa wasn't so. I could see it from Hagana's expression. If I lied side, Lisa looked at me with a tired expression. Mr. Tayama came, I guess. Tayama? He didn't come here to collect on a debt. Hagana tried her best to stop Lisa, but once those words came out, the strength left her as if the end of the world had come. He sure did. And did you know? I was about to detail the ruckus what happened after I got back to the church, but then my eyes met Hagana's. His eyes were filled with supplications. It was more than a little surprised at such a pompous goddess being able to make such a face. Making Tayama fly off the walls had probably happened once or twice before, and I didn't think Lisa had condoned such behavior. Hmm. My heart wasn't so shriveled as totally rule out saying quiet. Uh, sorry, as to totally rule out staying quiet after seeing such a humble entreaty from Hagana. Hmm. I mean, I still don't really understand why she don't want to talk about it. And did I know what? I took the receipt from my pocket. I handed it to the expectant Lisa. I paid off the interest for you, so pay me back later. Staring for a few seconds at the 200 moons receipt, she sat on the table with a look at me with a sigh. So now I owe you, now instead. Much better than Baldian, right? Lisa knew she shouldn't loud but couldn't hold back. She then took the receipt. Well, Mr. Tayama also has a hard time, you know? Well, he does look kind of unfortunate. Hey, I shrugged unnaturally at Lisa's remark and worked on the rest of the stir fry. I knew she had put the 200 most into the cabinet, but when I looked at Lisa's face as she held the receipt, I didn't feel like telling her to get that out. I thought maybe I did something stupid, but if the time came, I could always just ask her to nullify the rent. I stuffed my stomach full of pork and peppers and belched doing my next words. Well, just pay it back when you can. I also have some favors too. Well, if you could put the things more appropriately, you'd probably be sorry, popular with the girls, you know? Huh. I snickered and drank my tea. I was even a little ashamed of myself for wondering if that's what I was missing. I'll pay you back soon. Well, how soon would depend on that. It chatted quickly, and Haganas was definitely glaring at me after seeing Lisa's expression. She probably thought that I didn't deserve any thanks, but reason didn't really fly with this girl. Thanks for dinner. I paid no heed to Hagana, got up from my chair, and went back to my room. Hmm. Okay. Oh, this conversation was pretty chill. Hmm. But since Lisa just don't pay him back his money, so they probably need it for something. Or maybe she actually already used it. Don't know. But yeah. After dark, I continued to watch the news and read up on the stocks, puzzling over my avenue to attack for tomorrow. When there was a knock on my door, I figured it must be Lisa, since she'd actually do the proper thing. As expected, her voice came through the door. Are you asleep? I'm not a great schooler, you know. Well, aren't you kind of like one? Well, I'd probably look that way from the point of view of an archer like you. What? I won't. So, what's up? I got a surprise amount of reaction. I figured I'd manage to pay her back for all of the times she treated me like a kid. Lisa was about to say something, but I muttered it to herself and stated her business. What time to come up here? What? Lisa answered me after looking over at the living room. At least while Haganas in the bath. Hmm? Well, okay, I guess. Wait a second. I closed my computer, putting it to password-locked sleep mode, and headed out into the hallway. Hmm. You're surprisingly methodical. A man needs his share of secrets to survive. Haha, right. Lisa walked out, and I followed her. Using using the unreliable light from the diode lamp to get our way, we headed up the step stairs. The court, sorry, the courtyard I saw during the days was lit by light pouring out of Lisa's room. Lisa invited me into her room. What left me speechless wasn't that her room was all pink and girly. In fact, it was. If that were the case, I wouldn't be just laughed my head off before I feel any surprise. Lisa's room was a simple room, perhaps a little more crowded than mine, and it came with a bed and desk. Hmm. There was a good reason for cramped feelings throughout. There were real books lined up against one of the walls. Are these the real thing? That's right. That fetch a hefty price too. Hmm. Lisa pulled out a chair for me, and then she opened a drawer and took out a small bottle. Ah, can you drink, Hal? For a second, I couldn't figure out whose this Hal was until I quickly realized it was me. Perhaps it caught me by surprise, but it felt kind of odd and tingly. You mean alcohol? Or perhaps you never had any? I'm not some loser. Hehe. And I was truly a loser when I proclaimed that. This was really good at making people dance on her palm. Or perhaps I really was a kid after all. Well, could I try to really know it? Hmm, seriously? Okay. Hmm, so I guess she's not a really responsible adult. She then poured some into a cheap-looking silvery cup and handed it to me. It was an amber liquid, and the whiff I had of it was quite smoky. Don't drink it all in one gulp. I thought I was being treated like a kid again, and was about to drink it all down to show her, but she managed to slip some words in before that happened. I'd like you to savor the flavor. This woman was truly underhanded. With a sulking face, I gave it a taste and was on the verge of coughing. Hmm. Gah, well, what did you want to talk about? Or did you just want to boost me up? Well, it's not really that. There was something else I wanted to talk about today. Today? Yep, when Mr. Tayamo came today. What really happened? Lisa switched the cup in front of her and stared down at it. As I drank, Lisa looked back up and continued. Agans really can't keep up a poker face about things. And, well, you're kind of Sam. Quiet. But I'm really happy that you covered for her. I guess shaking hands isn't really needed to make up. Given the smile on Lisa's face as she said this, I could only begrudgingly accept that I was also happy about it. However, I couldn't just candidly say yes to her. Knowing full well that I was being childish again, I lowered my voice as much as possible to give my reply. Not even I'm that pretty-minded. Yep, I also believe that you weren't. Lisa sipped some liqueur and swallowed it down gently. When I had drunk some, I felt like someone had shoved a smokestack in my mouth. But the way Lisa drank it was very fitting. This made Lisa irrefutably look like an adult, and me look like a child. However, I didn't think Lisa was doing that to look like an adult or anything. Rather, it appeared she might have been using it to loosen her lips. So, what happened? I don't know the details, since I came in halfway. Okay, but well, I can't imagine what happened. When I returned, there was a big commotion. The old geezer was livid, throwing sofas and stuff around on a rampage. And well, that girl was like her usual self. Hagana. Hagana was like her usual self. Totally angry and belligerent while at the same time trembling. Shish. So then what happened? And then I instantly threw it was some bulgar, smacked him down, restrained him and shut him up. And while I was listening to the account of what happened, I realized that this old guy was probably not at fault. Released him and then paid off the interest. That's all. It was staring at the cup for a second, took an hour drink as if to drink away a sight, and then asked me, "So, what about the lilies?" Lilies? Oh, that girl. Hagana told me that there had to be 7. Or I got, so I got some for her. Wait, how do you know that? Of course I know. Where do you think the laundry gets sorry. Where do you think the laundry gets hung out to dry? Is the rolled your eyes while asking me that? Oh yeah. I guess they're by the garden with the flower bed on the 3rd level. Furthermore, the ones in the vase, they're something given to me, and the ones in the flower were ones I grew. I was really depressed that 2 of them had been uprooted. Okay. But when I came back down to the living room and saw the George Laden roots in the garbage, and then smooshed lilies through in with them together, well, let's say you don't have to be Einstein to figure out kind of that happened. Brilliant deduction. But could I ask something? What? Why would Hagana want to hide this incident from you? So like it was the first time Hagana had looked down on people and pissed them off. Besides, this Mr. Tayama, or what his face didn't, appear to be some elite guest from you shouldn't upset at any cost. However, Hagana did everything she could to hide the incident. Or perhaps she was overly concerned about the thing with the lilies and tried to hide everything. While I was pondering such thing, Lisa slowly wet her lips with the liquor. She thinks the depth was her fault. Interesting. Oh? Well, the fog lifted or something rather unexpected. Well, I guess I was originally at fault. I had lost a book I borrowed from the university. I guess it did look like something that belonged in a trash heap, so perhaps the child threw it away. However, even I wasn't totally sure. Besides, I was kind of sloppy with it as well, so of course I couldn't really blame her, if it were the case. But she was really sad in her beliefs and was really obsessed with that incident. I see, but well, you managed to square it away using some money, right? Did this book cost some money? Oh. For some reason I was sure it's something about church or something. But book? Really? I mean, maybe it was some really old book. Also, I guess there's probably not really really a lot of books on the moon. Anyway. Haha, if you put it that way, it saved me a lot of talking. But it wasn't just a small amount of money. And since we were poor, we had to borrow the money to pay the fine. The banks wouldn't even give us the light of day. So the only people who'd lend us money were locals like Mr. Tayama. He's a good guy. He didn't even ask for collateral when lending us the money. Was he an idiot? The interest was pretty low too. But the interest wasn't that low. Don't be an idiot. It was quite low. Deposit interest rates at the bank started at around 3%, right? Just storing it at the bank earned you 3% interest. So lending money to some penniless person at 6% with no collateral must be a sure sign of madness. I didn't know. Aren't you an adult? Lisa smiled bitterly at my exasperated exclamation and just shrugged. So, Hagana also knew that guy was an idiot. But how does that turn into a reason to hide the scaffold from you? The dots aren't connected for me. They chucked faintly at my words. For a second there, I would thought she was trying to dodge the question. So I started to talk again. However, I realized that wasn't the case. I clapped my mouth shut. His smile was quite sad. This was the first time when I realized that people can laugh with such a sad face. I really think I can trust you, Hal. Huh? What's with you all of, of a sudden? I'm not trying to flatter you. You can somewhat figure out what people are really like inside after seeing their various aspects. You try to act all mean and stuff, but you are really a good kid instead. I couldn't get angry at Lisa's serious face, and while I was thinking the whole time that she was making fun of me. And that's why I'm going to tell you. Got it? Lisa clung onto the silver-colored cup in her hand, uh, as if her life depended on it. I once got really angry at her for that before. What? Got angry at her for Hagane intentionally trying to piss off Mr. Tayama. I guess that really was the case. Yep, she would try her best to anger him when I wasn't looking. And furthermore, as you've said, she was actually afraid. I recalled my memory of Hagane definitely yelling angrily with her body flush against the wall. The corners of her eyes totally red and her hands trembling. And I guess then Hagana had some past trauma or something. We also don't really know why she get run away from home. Maybe she has problems with her parents or something. You know the reason for that? Nope. Well, even I didn't know that first. However, when I yelled at her the first time for it, she said this. She said even if you had no money to pay it back, everything would be solved if you just shipped me off, right? Ah, what? I guess normally you wouldn't know what that was all about. However, I immediately realized what she meant. When I was back on Earth, the stores were a dime a dozen. Sorry. Were, I guess, a dime a dozen. Her reply came as she stared blankly and deeply into her cup. I was assaulted by the premonition of something even worse than I could totally hide. Something worse than dog crap. She wouldn't tell me her personal story. So this is all just a conjecture, but I came to the conviction that she was bought with money. You can't be... Before I could finish my sentence, the root of my tongue had frozen completely solid. Many of the folks from my village came from the darkest corners of the earth. There were a lot of cheerful dudes, but I had the feeling they were trying to make up for something. They said were placed on the earth that people from more affluent countries were overlooked, even if such places were in said countries. The lunar metropolis was a powerful contraption to extract money from Earth. It was a tool to make money using various methods. So it wouldn't be strange if there existed things like the ones they talked about. In fact, it would be odd if there weren't. So adoption of a talented child would be a rare occurrence, right? Even if the adopter didn't feel that way, it's quite possible for adopted to feel that she had been bought. So is this just about what she's talented kid, or it was something else more dark? Anyway, of course there are such strategies with children are being bought and sold. Lisa's tone didn't sound like she was just rambling about the matter. Well, I considered Lisa's quite an annoying woman. I also felt she was something whose feet were firmly planted on the ground. Lisa probably investigated the matter herself. Haga's math talent are truly marvelous, after all. Um, After all, she got full marks on the entrance exam for Dollar City University. She'd definitely be able to get a scholarship to the point of having even clothing, food, and lodging being covered by the university. Hagala had to be looking towards that, but she'd definitely not say a word of it. Guess what she'd been the most interested in right now? Making money. A bit, a bit taste spread out through my mouth. And if I wanted to have my own beliefs about person while not knowing anything about that person, having the truth laid bare before me would only naturally include this reaction. I think she takes it out on ours because of all the pain she endured. If she put all her strength into enduring her pain, she wouldn't be able to control herself. But a debt is just a debt, and it's not like you couldn't pay it back, right? It's not like that girl needed to sell it herself. Not being able to understand exactly what it means to sell on self, I feel like I'd said something quite stupid. But Hakana was apparently quite talented, and she didn't look bad either. When push comes to shove, that method of selling would work. That's right, that's what I wanted to say, but his heavy typing side, I continued drinking. After gulping down one, she rightly poured herself some more. I'll pay it back. Actually, even right now. What? I looked at Lisa's in amazement. And when I followed up my exclamation, you're gonna sell yourself. Okay. Lisa spit out her liqueur and started couching. Ach, gross. Trish, don't say such bizarre things. Well, that's kind of how the conversation flowed. Man, well, this probably wasn't too far off the mark. Huh? I do have things to sell. However, they're pretty much a part of me, so I was hesitant at selling them. Lisa looked up, staring off into space like some uh, precocious child, observing the stars for the first time. However, what she was staring at wasn't the far off nebula, but rather something closer. The bookshelf. After I noticed what she was looking at, she sighed and continued. It's like you're running away from not wanting to work. I've been trying to avoid the problem. If I sold a few of the books lining these shelves, I'd be able to pay back the loan. Aren't they really what? Are they really what awesome? As the time passed, the amount of books can't increase. They can only decrease. And in that sense, they are precious. A part of the font of human knowledge rests upon these books. And so, in that sense, they are awesome, but stop copying me. Yeah, but it's not like life would be harder without them. And so, in that sense, they aren't that great. But second, them would feel like ripping out a part of my own body. Hmm. I still have no clue what you're spouting. Besides, if you sold them, couldn't you just buy them again later? My problems would be a lot simpler if that were the case. You can't buy them again. Books like these aren't ones you find anywhere. They are not books that everyone's going to want. Those people who want them are fanatics about them, and once they get their hands on them, it's very rare they want to get rid of them. You know, only a few books of this type exchange hands per year, probably. Therefore, if I put this up for sale, I'll definitely find a buyer, but there's a very good chance I'll never get them back again. Hmm. So these books actually, I guess, are really, um, sorry, really valuable. Um, so and even collectioners actually want them. Hmm. Okay. And it's not like I wanted for them to appreciate in the value to sell them. They're more like friends and comrades to me, if you get my meaning. I feel something proud the glimpse Lisa threw at me. Putting comrades up for sale would definitely yield buyers, but once your comrades are sold, you'll never get them back. And that's why I've been dragging my feet. If I found an adult dragging their feet on doing something they should be doing, I totally want to kick their butt and split on them. However, even with those beliefs, I couldn't bring myself into thinking that in front of Lisa. I could see that Lisa really loved these books, like real people who were friends and comrades. Instead of her standing in front of bookcases, leaning on the bed and speaking uh, abs- uh, absent-mindedly, gave the impression of a girl at her wits' end. And that wasn't something shameful. If this was something that would drive even Lisa to her wit end, then it must be truly something formidable. And that must be, without a doubt, your love for books. Well, I guess you just have to pay it back bit by bit. Well, you're right. That's the case, but as if to proclaim her return to reality, she let out an adult yet bitter smile and poised off the rest of the liquor in her cup easily. And you're the same, aren't you? In 20 days, I'll have you find some way to make money. Hmm, in 20 days, huh? Revealing no sign about my stock trading, I replied sulkily. Well, as you can see, I'm really in no position to lecture you. However, I do have one thing to say. Yay. We really didn't expect him to actually make some money, and he don't really talk about it. Mm, yeah, that stuff about Hagana. Oh yeah, I have a wish to ask of you, but like, could you please get along with her because of your sad predicament? It kept mimicking me so much that I decided to mimic her in return. I thought she'd get mad, but getting such moral education stuff pushed me on me way to be kind of mad too. So we were even. This was the moon after all. Why would you consider loading yourself with baggage if you were going to be flying up? You got it. However, Lisa didn't get angry. Instead, she poured herself some more liquor and wet her lips with it. Actually, it's a little different from wanting you to get along with her. It's possible for people to have disagreements, right? I think Hagana and I like that. That's probably the case. However, then Hagana glaring down at you, you stopped instantly doing things in response to intentionally upset her, right? You got a point there. That's good enough. What I want you to do is to acknowledge her. Acknowledge? Yep. People's existence are such ephemeral things. Wasn't there that thing from old Fae legends that the Fae can continue to exist as long as people believe in their existence? Hmm, interesting. Once people forgot about them, then they couldn't continue to exist. Haven't you heard about something similar to that? Unfortunately not. There were tales like that. And it's not just limited to Fae. Anyone would be happy if they got complimented, and having some worry about you allows you to believe that you're a meaningful existence to them. People can't think of themselves as being human, they are all alone. No way. It's true. There have been examples on Earth where someone who grew up with dogs would only think of themselves as dogs. To acknowledge someone is to give a proper response to them, even if that were to be one of disgust. Lisa took a breath and stared at me. It became a bit harder for me to breathe. Lisa had always been caring to me. Deciding to answer her pointless question was in part because she respected me. I don't mind if you guys have arguments, but I don't think you guys are such opposites either. What? Yeah, right. Hmm? Well, and the one thing I would ask of you the most is, Lisa cut off my words, stood up from the bed and held my hands. Don't ignore her. She has lost all faith in her self-worth. It can be healthy for someone to think that selling yourself would be the way to pay back a debt. I want to say that everyone is equal before the Lord, but before that, I want her to never forget that she is a human being and not just some item. I know that it's the moon, and that the trend here is that anything that can be turned into money is worthless. But the, whose last words skewered my heart, and I'm sure Lisa saw through my expression of pain at that moment. Lisa looked at me and chuckled lightly. I tried to hide my embarrassment and thought about lashing back in anger, anger, but it didn't happen. Said at the moment Lisa embarrassed me softly. Hmm. Well, you have a good sense of self, and that was definitely because of your parents. Hmm. Yeah, right, my parents. The way they grew, they're probably totally different, but I believe they must have said things to you, to the point where you got sick of it. I couldn't object because she got it precisely. After all, I left the village because my freaking parents' unmovable conviction made me want to puke. Hmm. Okay. However, that is in itself the marvelous spark of love. Since if they didn't care about you, they wouldn't do it. And if you didn't have those freaking annoying parents, it wouldn't be very hard to collect your thoughts, right? I made a clearly bitter face at being mute again, and Lisa checked after noticing it indirectly. Hmm. This image don't exactly uh, suit this conversation, uh, but anyway. Lisa's breathing lightly brushed my right ear, and it was a hellish sensation that made me sleepy. I sheltered those who ran away from home with no place to go because I believe they need some to acknowledge them. In any case, the moon is a busy place, a bustling and stimulating place like you said, so most people have no time to care about ours, right? But I received the Lord teachings, so I feel like I'd be able to do something like that. Hmm. You stepped back and picked up the cup I was holding with the liqueur in it. What do you think? She posed me the question at the end. I totally salute someone who'd be able to refuse at this point. However, much to my charging, sorry, I don't know this word. Okay. I actually heard before, just don't realize it. Mm. However, much to my chagrin, I did understand what Lisa was trying to get across. I didn't want to admit that those annoying parents loved me, even if I were on my deathbed, but I felt like I was able to figure out what I needed to succeed on the moon because of them. It was kind of like teaching me that not to do. And besides, their way of thinking was different. It was true that I learned from those guys in the village helped me many a time. Concerned, once value as a human, the story still felt fishy to me, but at least it seems that Hagana hadn't been leading such a happy life. Thus, at least being a bit kind to her wasn't all that bad. Besides, whatever I argued with her or whatever, as long as I didn't ignore her, it would be fine. I looked back at Lisa and replied woodenly, "Get it." And at that moment, Lisa beamed a warm smile. "Thank you." Hmm. Well, let's keep that we talked today a secret, okay? And alcohol seems to be a bit too early for you, so don't drink it while I'm not here, okay? Instead of complaining about her nagging, I resorted to spitting out my breath, as if I were clicking my tongue. I realized it was something childish that would get laughed at by Lisa, but I had no choice. Well, I was kind of disappointed after she said thanks to me, and it would be bad if she found out what I was thinking. I had totally thought that she'd hug me again. Crap, stop it. I'm being an idiot. Good night. Your words as she closed the door stuck with me for some time. Okay, I guess we gonna stop here. It's at least feels like good place for stop. Mm, it wasn't really a long stream, but still. Mm, yeah, yeah, it's okay. Um, I feel we kind of every hour stream it's about a hour. Well, previous stream this was kind of long, but yeah, it's on par on every hour stream. That's what, and yeah, as I said, it's a good stopping point. So we get our conversation with Lisa, what we spent it. Mm, we get some backstory about Hagana. Mm, it wasn't really to say too much about it. Mm, I mean, it's maybe good to it's like kind of left for our own imagination. So yeah, so we kind of can just try and imagine uh, ourselves what was Kagana's past about her was sold off or something. Like, is it was only about her being smart, or maybe it was something else? Anyway, so yeah, it's probably a good thing. Like, uh, from a writer do such things. Like, it can be as dark as people just want it to be. Um, well, there is a chance what we actually will be learn in the future. Maybe not. But yeah, I kind of like how it was handled this time. Mm, it's kind of surprising. I usually actually love when it be well everything built told and don't really just left for guessing. But in these situations, yes, it, otherwise I kind of feel it can be turn off for some people, maybe even for me. Um, so yeah. Anyway, mm, I think I gonna call this part something like mm, mm, I don't know, eating and drinking or something. I mean, because we just have mostly two scenes in this episode. They're eating together, are three of them, and I probably gonna use this scene for thumbnail. I mean, we surprisingly got a lot of um, arts which I can use for thumbnail, but I probably want to use then there's three of them. Um, but yeah, so yeah, we got scene when they're eating, and got scene with conversation with between Lisa and Haru. Anyway, so it's all for today. Let me change scene. So yeah, next when stream will be on Saturday. But for now, goodbye. Have a nice time of the day.